no doubt in the fact that Doug Flutie had great athletic ability. The thing that he's done to this ball club is everybody else is elevated to another level.
In the offseason, many thought that Doug Flutie would be reunited with his brother Darren here in Toronto. That didn't happen, but he'll see Darren tonight as a member of the Edmonton Eskimos.
Darren Flutie's having a great year so far. Great inside receiver, super speed, and he is a big target for the next guy we're going to speak about, Danny McManus.
Yeah, both of those guys came from the BC Lions. They hooked up 2 years ago to win the Grey Cup. Danny McManus off to a tough start, throwing a lot of interceptions.
He has thrown up a lot of interceptions, and he had some people around him that just aren't performing well. He's getting some people back healthy. Tonight should be a great test for the Edmonton offense.
And Danny McManus will go on the offense first, as Edmonton has won the toss, and they will receive. In the white uniforms, the Edmonton Eskimos with a record of 4-2, second place in the Western Division. Jerry Collins, Eric Blunt will be back deep. Mike Vanderjagt will put the ball into play. The Argonauts, as we mentioned, off to a 5-1 start. The Calgary Stampeders are also 5-1 in the West. Toronto, the top team in the East.
Mike, Edmonton's coming off 2 victories against Ottawa. Not a real challenge for them. They've had it easy for 2 weeks. As I said in the opening, this will be a pure test for Danny McManus and the Edmonton offense tonight.
Short kick taken at the 27-yard line by Blunt, and he has hit at the 38. Good hit applied by Toronto. It was Ken Benson, number 37. The Edmonton offense led by Danny McManus, Blunt, and Flutie. The 2 guys we highlight, of course, Darren Flutie broke his brother Doug's heart a couple of years ago in the Western Conference Finals when he caught that last-second touchdown pass to propel BC over Calgary and into the Grey Cup. And there is Danny McManus, the former Florida State quarterback. McManus and the Argonauts will start from their own 40-yard line. The pitch goes back to Blunt. He comes left side, and he's pushed out of bounds at the 41. Defensive setup for the Toronto Argonauts, who have played fairly good defense, but of course Doug Flutie always helps that. They do have some new guys in a revamped backfield, including number 12, Adrian Smith, and number 26, Courtney Griffin. Tim Cofield, 5 sacks on the year. He led the CFL with 24 sacks 1 season ago. 2nd and 8 from the 42. McManus dishes it off to Collins. Hit short of the first down. Alex Gordon, number 96, making the stop for the Argonauts.
Danny McManus and that offense of Edmonton showing you right now, they are very leery, and they are aware of the pressure that the Toronto defense can put up on them up front. And he goes with the screen pass, but nothing doing. This team, as far as Toronto is concerned, both offensively and defensively, has the best team speed, I think, in the whole league to date.
Glenn Harper will punt. And the always dangerous Jimmy Cunningham back deep for the Argonauts, set up on his own 17-yard line. Harper brings it to the near side of the football field, taken at the 18 by Jimmy Cunningham. And he has hit at the 25, a return of 7 yards on the play, hit by Trent Brown. And Flutie in the offense will start at the 25. Robert Drummond has been as good a story as there is so far in the CFL. Tied for number 1 in scoring, number 1 in yards from scrimmage, number 2 in all-purpose yards, number 4 rusher in the CFL. And there are some changes being made on the offensive line of Toronto.
Up in the front, they had a very bad injury last week to Pierre Berchevaux, their starting left guard. And now that brings in Chuck Bradley, who is from Kentucky, making his first start for the Toronto Argonauts.
He is at the left guard position, number 64. Flutie, quick hit to pinball Clemens. He breaks 1 tackle, and he is hit at the 27-yard line, a gain of 2 or 3 on the play. Willie Pless, who else makes the stop? Willie Pless, last year, once again named most outstanding defensive player in the CFL for the 3rd time in 4 seasons. And always watch for number 40, Benny Goods, up front. He can create havoc, as the Edmonton defense has done all season long. Goods, the number 1 sack man, with 5 on the year. 2nd and 7 from the 28. Three wide receivers make it 4 on the near side. Flutie goes over the middle, complete. First down at the 50-yard line. Mike Moriali makes the reception.
going to happen if you give Doug Flutie that much time to stand in the pocket and survey the defense of Edmonton. Straight seam routes, just lobs the ball over the outstretched hands of the defender, Willie Pless there, and Mariali makes no mistake about that grab. First down, keeps the drive alive for Doug Flutie in this offense.
Gain of 24 on the play. They'll set it up at the 50-yard line. Flutie from the shotgun. Near side, Jimmy Cunningham. Cunningham breaks back towards the middle of the field, and he is into Edmonton Eskimo territory. Now, Kep Keys, as always, here on the CFL on the Deuce. We'll check out what you want the Toronto Argonauts to do tonight.
Just like I said, take this guy, Drummond, and use him to death. Use him as a runner inside, throw to him. Then also take this defense of Edmonton, spread him out offensively, and that's exactly what Doug Flutie is doing right now. And on the defensive side of the ball, turn the heat up and get in Danny Mack's face. Force the Edmonton Eskimo quarterback to throw under pressure.
Gain of 18 yards on the reception by Cunningham. First and 10 from the 46. They go to Jimmy Cunningham. Same play again. This time he is rocked by number 10, Malcolm Frank, with help from Larry Ruck.
Good read by Doug Flutie that time. Edmonton in his zone defense. Just sets down outside to Jimmy Cunningham. Now take a look. You're going to see Malvin Hunter do it, and inside with Benny Goods doing a little twist. That's Mike Sellers, I should say. Comes up underneath him. Doug Flutie reads it quite well. And number 59, Bradley, just runs the defender. Sellers right by, gives Doug Flutie clear vision down the field.
Still a gain of 10 and another first down from the 35. Flutie under pressure. Ruck forcing him out of bounds. And they will sack Doug Flutie. Larry Ruck will be credited for the sack, as Edmonton now has 28 sacks on this CFL season, and that is number 1 in the league.
Doug Flutie wants to run the shovel pass inside to Drummond. He's going to come in, he's going to ladder it back inside, shovel it. Larry Ruck's up in his face quite quickly, but the thing that you didn't see on this picture was the reason is Benny Good tackled Drummond, so Doug Flutie had no one to pitch the ball to. So he did the right thing and the smart thing. Just eat it, get it out of bounds, then snap it. 2nd and 10 again.
Doug Flutie off to a good start, the number 1 passer in the CFL. 2nd and a long 10. Flutie will keep it himself. Lots of room. And he is very close to the first down marker. All of a sudden, 2 Edmonton defenders converged on Doug Flutie, led by Trent Brown and Darian Hagan, and he may have not gotten the first down yardage. We'll see if he gets a favorable spot, and now they are moving the chains.
He crossed. Now look in the middle. There's no Edmonton defenders there. He's run everybody off. Doug Flutie does exactly what Doug Flutie best. He just takes the ball, runs up for the first down. He knows exactly where the mark is. Takes the slide, hook slide into second base. Now tee it up again. 1st and 10.
Number 58, the right guard, is Chris Gioskos. He is playing in place of Joe Burgess, who was moved down to the practice squad. 1st and 10 from the 25. Complete to Pinball Clemens. Breaks one tackle through the arms of the would-be tackler of the Edmonton Eskimos, Darian Hagan, and turns it into a good gain on first down.
8 years in this league, and 8 years, Michael Clemens has been really not respected enough that guys don't wrap up and don't tackle him. He's only 5'6", about 170 pounds, soaking wet, a lot of strength, a lot of power, keeps his legs driving and moving, and picks up a good 7 yards there, make it about 2nd and 3.
From the 18-yard line. Opening drive of the night for the number 1 offense in the league. They finally go to the ground. Running the football, big Robert Drummond. He pulls his way close to another Toronto first down.
Robert Drummond has been the absolute key to this offense other than Doug Flutie. He gives them everything they want. Good rushing, hard, powerful game inside. He's got the great speed that he can run the ball outside. He is a pass receiver. He does it all, and it opens up everybody else for Doug Flutie and the Toronto offense.
On the last carry, a bit short of the marker. 3rd and 1. The 1-yard cushion. Will Flutie keep it himself? Goes over the right side, and the second effort should get the Argonauts another first down. That 1-yard cushion makes third and short situations so much different in the CFL.
Makes it a lot tougher on the defensive guys. All the quarterback has to do is come up, take the snap, bury your head, get behind that big center, and Mike Kislak at 295, and lean forward. What happened in that case, Doug came out, showed his head a little bit, tried to slide up or down the line of scrimmage. It allowed a couple of those Edmonton defenders to get a shot at him.
From the 14-yard line, Flutie with time. Looks to Jimmy Cunningham. Inside the 10. Good open field tackle made at the 7-yard line by Kavis Reed.
Down at the bottom of your screen, here is Kavis Reed and then also Cunningham. Now take a look and look at the cushion that Reed's going to give him. It's just a little quick catch pattern. He doesn't react up quick enough to it, thinking that he has some help from Hagan, the halfback, to come from inside. They have to react up late, and it allows Cunningham to pick up 7 yards.
Jimmy Cunningham leading the CFL. All-purpose yards on second down and 3. They go to the ground again, trying to set up the first and goal situation. And another first down for the Argonauts, methodically moving down the football field.
Now you take a look at Doug Flutie. The ball is snapped. This is like the gun's going off, and it's a sprinter start. He's got the right leg back, and he's starting to move and starting to go straight forward as the ball's coming up. Picks up the first down, first and goal for this very powerful and dominating so far Toronto offense.
From the 3-yard line. Double back set. Drummond, number 29 on the left side of Flutie. They give the ball to Mike Pinball Clemens, and he is brought down at just the 1-yard line by Willie Pless.
Great thing that you want to do, just a straight dive play. You would think that they would use their power back in Drummond's at 215. Not a chance. They bring in Michael Clemens, line him up in the T formation, straight head dive. That 170 almost got it into the end zone. Second and very short.
Now let's look for 6'3", 215-pound Robert Drummond, or Flutie on the keeper. Second and goal from the 1. There's Doug Flutie. Touchdown! Opening drive, impressive for the Argonauts, capped off by Doug Flutie.
Michael, as you said, a very impressive drive. Good ball control, great play selection. Orchestrated by that man right there, number 2, Doug Flutie. Now take a look at the second effort. The Edmonton Eskimos close it all up. All he does is keep his feet moving, keep his shoulders spinning, works right down the line of scrimmage, falls into the end zone, breaks the plane.
On for the convert, Mike Vanderjagt. Off the hold of Doug Flutie. And the Argonauts march down the football field on the opening drive to take the early lead. Drive put together by Doug Flutie and the Toronto Argonauts, proving once again that they are the most lethal offense in the CFL. It seems that tag works around the league as Doug Flutie leaves. The most lethal offense last year was Calgary's, with Flutie in control. 13 plays, 85 yards, exactly 8 minutes, capped off by Flutie's 6th rushing touchdown in the air. From the 13-yard line, it is Eric Blunt. He's got a hole all the way up to the 40-yard line. Breaks a tackle, and finally a shoestring tackle made on Eric Blunt at the 52. Heck of a return for Eric Blunt. Up 39 yards. Finally hauled down by Cooper Harris.
Doug got looking too winded on the sideline, ran it a couple of plays, and this is a good thing that they had to do. He kept this Edmonton defense off balance that whole drive. Now here for Edmonton, what they have to do, take Eddie Brown. He's got to shine. He's got to go downtown. Eric Blunt has got to have a good game to open up Danny McManus play-action passes.
Eric Blunt, number 2 in yards from scrimmage. 1st and 10 for Edmonton. McManus dumps it over the middle, in and out of the hands of Shalon Baker. Been a bit of a tough start for young Shalon Baker. Eddie Brown is back in the picture now. Shalon, the touchdown maker out of Montana. Brilliant, being named the CFL's most outstanding rookie 1 season ago.
Last year came in 79 catches, 1,156 yards, 5 touchdowns, really showed his stuff. This is a guy that is sure-handed that we didn't see in that last play. And this is what he and the rest of this team has to do. You've got to concentrate just a little bit harder, a little deeper.
2nd and 10. McManus goes to Eddie Brown, and Eddie Brown is hit short of the first down yardage. Alex Gordon One of the 3 blue jerseys who wrapped up Eddie Brown quite quickly. Top receiver in the CFL is Eddie Brown.
Short by about 3 yards, and this is where the Edmonton Eskimos need to sustain some drives, and they're not getting it right now. This Toronto defense is tenacious. They fly around, they mix it up, they show you different looks, and they really do a good job of creating a situation to confuse the quarterbacks. Pre-snap read, and even when he snaps the ball, of showing different defenses on the fly.
Glenn Harper averaging 40.9 per kick. Back deep is Jimmy Cunningham inside the 10-yard line. Good field position and 2 and out again for the CFL's Edmonton Eskimos. Pushing it towards the corner. And the football goes out of bounds at about the 27-yard line. A punt of just 27 yards. Toronto to go back on the offense when we return.
ESPN, the leader in sports.
Offense, very dynamic in their first drive, amassing 8 minutes of time. Will the Edmonton defense be able to adjust here? Flutie starts from the 27-yard line. And the pressure was on, applied by Mike Sellers. Sellers has been very impressive so far, in for the injured Glenn Scribner.
Mike Sellers last year was his first year with the Edmonton Eskimos. Opening play, opening kickoff of the 95 season, he ends up breaking a foot, breaking a leg. Didn't get a chance to play at all last year. But as I talked to Coach Lancaster, he said, this guy is a project. This guy is going to be a very good football player. He has all the mechanics. He just does not have the expertise that it needs right now to be a solid guy in the CFL. But he's going to get there.
2nd and 10. Flutie. And his receiver was moving away from the pass, and Toronto will be forced to punt. Going to be a chess match all night long between the offense of the Toronto Argonauts, Adam Rita, the offensive coordinator of Toronto, and the very, very, very tough defense of the Edmonton Eskimos, and Greg Newhouse, their defensive coordinator.
It really is, and then it just flows over to the guys on the field. Doug Flutie is the guy that's going to move the pieces around, and as soon as he starts moving those pieces, Larry Ruck on the defensive side of the ball for Edmonton, he's got to counter those and make some audibles. So it will be very interesting to see how that transpires through the course of this game.
Shalon Baker will receive the first punt of the night from Mike Vanderchat. Takes it at the 42-yard line. Scampers up towards midfield, and he is stopped at the 48. We'll come back. It'll be good field position again for Edmonton. Quarter, Mike Goldberg, Danny Kepley from Sky Dome in Toronto. Don Matthews, he knows the guys across the field real well. Defensive coordinator for 5 Grey Cups in the late 70s and the early 80s. He has lost as a head coach just 1 of his last 19 games.
And he has a great reputation that wherever he goes, he builds a winner.
1st and 10 from the 53. McManus. Oh, what a dynamic catch made on the play by Eddie Brown. That was a dangerous pass thrown towards 2 blue jerseys. Don Wilson almost had the interception, but Brown comes up with the reception.
Terrific catch inside. Just a quick slant route, but Eddie Brown knows that he's going to catch a lot of traffic in there when guys are coming from the middle. Linebacker Wilson. In comes, that's number 97, Noah Cantor in there also. He doesn't like going in the middle. Danny Mack knows he's got to use Eddie Brown, get him downtown, get him up the field or out where he feels more comfortable.
Our first flags of the night. This quarter has moved right along.
End-to-end hockey, no whistles, huh?
You got that right.
Offside. Toronto number 38. Still 2nd down.
First 2 drives after good field position. Edmonton has come away empty.
Look at right in the middle of your screen. That's Reggie Gibbons in the front. He's going to come on a blitz, and everybody's trying to move. The defensive lineman wants to get up the line quite quickly. Noah Cannon, number 97, makes the move, gets caught in the zone. Quick whistle.
2nd and 2 from the 49. Punt with the 2nd effort. Going to be close to the 1st down. Eric Blunt, the ball carrier, met by Don Wilson, number 20. Wilson, the number 2 tackler on the Argos defense, and Eric Blunt, he has been a good story so far, averaging almost 5 yards per carry.
Number 3 in the CFL rushing coming into this ball game. great story with him last year. Came in and really inspired this Edmonton Eskimo offense, particularly the rushing game. Was 5th in the CFL with all-purpose yards, and he only played 9 games.
Averaging 80 rushing yards per game since, as you mentioned, becoming a starter. First down is gained for Edmonton. They're first of the contest. They'll work it from the 47 of Toronto. McManus over the middle. His receiver was dumped down. Darren Flutie was hit in the middle of the football field by one of the defensive backs, and the pass will go incomplete. And the Western Division, which now contains 2 very powerful teams in Calgary and Edmonton, with a win tonight, the Eskimos can equal Calgary's win total and earn the 10 points in the standings. BC off to a very, very tough start. 5-1 record of Calgary's, matched by the Argonauts in the East.
The 2 losses for Edmonton have come at the hands of Saskatchewan and Winnipeg.
2nd and 10 for McManus. Same route, same result. No, this time it's Eddie Brown working inside the 5, hauled down at the 1-yard line. A gain of 46 yards on the reception by Eddie Brown.
Danny Mac with that quick 3-step drop and a release by Eddie Brown coming off the line. They see something in that Toronto middle that they want to take advantage of. That's where they've been throwing the ball. And Eddie Brown made no mistake once he caught the ball going up the field, shifting it into high gear and getting it down to the 1-yard line for Danny McManus and this big offensive line of the Edmonton Eskimos.
Edmonton coming off a sweep of a home-and-home series against the Ottawa Rough Riders, and in those 2 games, Eddie Brown had 274 yards worth of reception.
And I think with that catch right there, Mike, that put him over the 5,000-yard career mark.
First and goal. Edmonton, touchdown. Big number 39, the ball carrier. Willie Pless defensively comes in and runs the football in for the Edmonton touchdown.
Now, this just goes to show you the versatility of a guy like Willie Pless. Not only can he play the linebacker as good as anybody in this league, and he's only done it that way for the last 2 years, being named the best defensive player in this league, but they bring him in on short yardage situations. He's caught touchdown passes. Now he shows that he can run touchdowns in.
Most outstanding defensive player in 92, 94, and 95 has the touchdown. Sean Fleming back from Redskins camp, where things did not work out well, but Edmonton welcomes him back, and he converts on the convert, and we are tied at 7. So McManus and the Eskimos get the offense going. We're in for a good one tonight.
He ain't got a line that's coming down hard.
Last drive, the 46-yard reception by Eddie Brown down to the 1-yard line, and Toronto will start in the arms of Jimmy Cunningham. Cunningham takes the near side route and is pushed out of bounds at the 13. A return of about 15 yards on the play. Willie Pless got the touchdown. The Edmonton scoring drive, 6 plays, 57 yards, took just under 3 minutes.
Just the kind of drive that this Edmonton offense needed to keep their spirits into this game. As well and as easy as Toronto and Doug Flutie moved the ball against their defense in for that major score, it was time to stand up and get back at them. And they did that between Danny Mac and Eddie Brown.
Eddie Brown, last year, started the year in Memphis, then was reacquired by the Eskimos, played just 3 games in Edmonton. Flutie offensively. Oh, the short pass almost intercepted on the play by Malcolm Frank. It will go incomplete. The intended receiver was Paul Mazzotti.
Errol Martin comes from the outside, just to the right of your screen. Doug Flutie sees him coming very quickly, wants to dump the ball off. Frank makes a great break on the ball and almost comes up with the pick.
2nd and 10 from the 29. Larry Ruck showing blitz right in the face of Flutie. Complete to Robert Drummond. A gain of about 5 yards on the play, and it will be another punting situation for the Argonauts.
That has to be a big miscue up front with the offensive center, Kislak, and maybe the newcomer, Chuck Bradley, on the left guard. Larry Rutt comes straight up the middle all by himself, gets right in Doug Flutie's face. Fortunately for Doug, he's got that great athletic ability and that great vision. He was able to see Drummond just sneaking over the middle, able to dump it off.
Shalon Baker, number 5, one of the 2 men deep for Edmonton. High kick. Darian Hagan will turn into a blocker. Baker will field it at the 25. Avoids a would-be tackler, still on his feet, scampering towards the outside, and hit at the 30. Just a 5-yard return for Shalon Baker, hit by Greg Eglin. There's a guy who's been in your position for about a decade as a broadcaster, Ron Lancaster. Tonight, with a victory, he can move into a tie for second place all-time on the Edmonton coaching mark.
He really can. He can move ahead. Right now, he can tie up with Coach Ray Yock. Ray Yock was the coach that brought me in to the CFL in 1975. Great broadcaster. That's how I happened to get into this business. When he left broadcasting with CBC, he went in there, came as the head coach. I was able to get a chance to do a little bit of work.
A little Edmonton connection going there.
Yeah, and then I get to work with guys like you.
Oh, almost intercepted. McManus totally misread what his receiver on the near side Mazzoli was going to do, and that is the knock on Danny McManus, that he has thrown too many interceptions in his career, and there is certainly numbers to back that up.
11 already this season to his ratio of 8. But Danny just doesn't look. He doesn't see the defender and read it quite quickly enough. All he does is step up, 3-step drop, turns opposite, and then throws it out there. The receiver read something different and broke the pattern off. Could have been 6 going the other way.
2nd and 10 from the 31. McManus this time to Eddie Brown. And he is hit immediately on the play by Donald Smith.
A couple of change-ups in the back end of the Toronto defense. Ed Berry was out with an ankle injury. Don Smith moves over to the left cornerback. Now he just sits back there. He's going to wait. He's going to force McManus to throw that ball short up in front of him and then use that great speed to react up on the ball, make the tackle, and force Edmonton into a punting situation.
3rd punt of the night for Glenn Harper. Good punt. Taken at the 27-yard line by Jimmy Cunningham. And Cunningham is hit behind where he initially fielded the ball at the 25 by Bruce Dixon. Booming punt by Glenn Harper. Toronto back on offense. For Don Matthews and the Toronto Argonauts, won 10 straight games last year to end the regular season as the head coach of the Baltimore Stallions. Then the 2 playoff games, then the Grey Cup, and off to a 5-1 start, which has people here at the Sky Dome wearing very funny-looking hats.
I tell you what, they'll wear anything if it'll cause the Toronto Argonauts to win a football game. And whatever's happening and whatever it is working.
Flutie going deep. He has his receiver. Big reception for Paul Mazzotti. Malcolm Frank said Mazzotti was pushing off. The officials will hear nothing of that. 40-yard reception by Paul Mazzotti.
Paul Mazzotti comes in, 32 catches this season. Straight seam route, just right up the field. Outruns Malcolm Frank, gives him a little juke right at the line of scrimmage, and is able to make it up with 1 step ahead of Frank. Mazzotti, great solid concentration and good hands. He is a primary guy for Doug Flutie to go to.
41 straight games with a reception for Mazzotti. From the 46, Flutie goes the other way towards Jimmy Cunningham. He is wrapped up immediately by Kavis Reed. Gain of 3 on the play.
This is where Doug Flutie is just a master. He works the defense. He stretches you out. He puts it out to one side to the outside. Then he throws it all the way across the field to the other side of the numbers. Then he makes this defense stretch out. Then next thing you know, he goes on that quarterback draw, or he throws it right up the seams in their place of vulnerability.
2nd and 7. Flutie with the shovel pass. Cunningham was rocked by Willie Pless and Darian Hagan. A loss of 3 on the play. Edmonton read that play beautifully.
Willie Pless stands back there at that middle linebacker position, and he can see that Cunningham comes underneath for a reason, and then all he does is just follow, and he uses that great pursuit speed inside out, and he makes no mistake. He is the second leading tackler in the CFL this year.
No surprise, he led the league last year with 100 tackles on the season. He was one behind the leaders entering the weekend. So a punting situation. Vanderchat tries to funnel it inside the 10-yard line. Takes a good bounce, hits the backside of a Toronto player, and you should note that will result in a different situation than there would be if that play happened in the NFL. We'll explain that to you when we return to the Sky Dome in Toronto. You're watching the CFL on ESPN2.
For the Toronto Argonauts, what's going to happen? You're going to get the penalty, and it's called a no-yards penalty. The ball hits the ground, then it hits the back of Marcellus Simmons, and what that is called is no yard. The coverage team has to give the receiving kicker 5-yard cushion area for him to do it. If the ball makes contact on a coverage guy, it is a 15-yard penalty from that spot. Simmons was caught for just not being able to pick the ball up in the air.
Of course, in the NFL, the football would have been downed inside the 10-yard line. Instead, Edmonton starts at the 24. They give it to Eric Blunt, and he is smothered quite quickly by Alex Gordon. Gain of 4 yards on the carry for Eric Blunt.
Eric Blunt, in his 3rd year with the Edmonton Eskimos out of the University of North Carolina, 5'9", 195 pounds, very powerful in the lower body, great leg strength.
Last year, 5th in rushing in the CFL, with 2,038 all-purpose yards, despite playing just the 9 games, as you mentioned.
Had one game against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, where they won 64-10, scored 5 touchdowns. 3 by pass, 3 by rush, 1 by a pass, and 1 by a punt return. This guy does it all.
Danny McManus, member of the Florida State Seminole Hall of Fame, works at 2nd and 7 from the 27-yard line. Short drop. McManus goes to the far side. Has Eddie Brown. Now Eddie Brown has room, and the first down. A 20-yard gain on the reception.
On the outside, Eddie Brown, 101 against Adrian Smith. Now watch this. Just a little hitch route. There's nothing really complicated to it. But when Adrian Smith comes up, loses his balance, goes to the outside, does not keep his feet up underneath him, allows Eddie Brown to make a little juke inside, then he gets outside and picks up a big first down.
McManus again, looking Brown. Now he comes back the other way. Mazzoli. Starting the pursuit was Donald Smith, number 19. It will be a gain of just 3 yards on the reception by Nick Mazzoli, number 80.
Tim Cofield is a guy that gives you a lot of pressure all the time. But the guy that stood up in front of him, that's Eric Blunt, that stands up, takes the big guy down, and gives Danny Mac just enough time to complete that pass.
Donald Smith, after applying the hit, still down on the ground. Had a big game last week against Montreal, recovering a fumble and having an interception against the Alouettes. Take a look at the play again.
Funnels Mazzoli back inside, and it looks like his own man comes across. That's number 26, Courtney Griffin, gets a shot. Could be in the rib area and the leg area of Smith. Trainers are still taking a good look at it.
Donald Smith out of Halifax, Nova Scotia. Played collegiately here in Canada at Western Ontario. The backfield has suffered some injuries already for these Argonauts. They can ill afford any more.
Ed Berry was the guy, as I mentioned earlier, that went out with a ankle injury, and it had to move around all the guys in the back end. The only guy that stayed solid was Dan Murphy at the safety position.
Also, Don Odegaard has a bruised bone, and he is also out of commission for tonight. We continue our coverage of the CFL on the Deuce. Saturday, August 24th. We'll once again check out these Argonauts against the Ottawa Rough Riders and David Archer. We'll look forward to that game. CFL Primetime coming your way Saturday August 24th from Frank Clair Stadium in the nation's capital here in Canada.
Hey, wait a second. That's right next to that hockey arena you go to all the time.
That's
like
right.
You know that.
Where they used to play before they started shoving lots of fans into the beautiful Palladium.
And they got that big, nice stadium now. It's amazing. Isn't progress wonderful?
It certainly is. Certainly is. And it is Frank Clair Stadium. Movement on the line, going to be offsides on Toronto. They work it outside to Eric Blunt, and he is pushed out of bounds just short of the first down marker. Let's see if they were drawn offsides. Greg Eglin forcing the receiver of the football, Eric Blunt, out of bounds on that last play.
The pattern that has gone for defense these days is that you take an oversized defensive back, as in Greg Eglin, and you bring him up to play the outside linebacker.
Toronto, number 51. Second down, repeat it.
We welcome you to Sky Dome here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Mike Goldberg, Danny Kepley, watching a good football game thus far. Edmonton, Willie Pless, the defensive standout with the 1-yard touchdown run after a key reception by Eddie Brown, and Doug Flutie, the quarterback keeper, resulting in Toronto's major. 2nd and 1 from the 54 for the Eskimos. And they pull their way up ahead for the first down. Tim Cofield makes the stop for Toronto. Jerry Collins, the ball carrier. Collins, you may recall, out of Penn State. There is a flag on the football field. Procedure, the initial indication against the Eskimos.
Those are the kind of things you can't have when you got a chance to keep the drive going. 2nd and short, and then you make a mental mistake and you get an illegal procedure. Make it 2nd and 6 now for the Edmonton Eskimos. Ron Lancaster is taking quite a bit of pressure about that, and he's going to let somebody know it out there on the field.
2nd and 6. Flag again. McManus complete to Mazzoli for the first down yardage. Hit on the play by Adrian Smith. We will await to see what the call on the football field is.
Offsides against the Toronto Argonauts, so they get the 5 yards back.
Number 96, decline. First down, Edmonton.
Alex Gordon out of the University of Cincinnati. So behind Rob Conniff, the longtime CFL veteran, it'll be 1st and 10 from the 45. McManus works it down deep. Wide open is Darren Flutie, and he cannot make the reception. Interesting offensive setup there, where the two running backs, Blunt and Collins, acted as blockers next to each other on the left side of Danny McManus, and Flutie sprung himself open, but was unable to make the catch.
What they do, they call this kind of offense red and blue. Red is to the right, blue is to the left, where the backs are going to double waggle. Both of them, neither one of them made a very good block against Cofield. Cofield still forced McManus to throw the ball right before he wanted to, or else he'd had a chance to get the ball back there. Flutie had gotten way behind Courtney Griffin.
2nd and 10 from the 45. They throw it to the outside. Shalon Baker will be short of the first down. Marcelo Simmons, along with Greg Eglin, makes the stop.
Now line this up for the hitch screen. Right there's number 12. That's Adrian Smith. He's going to come up, and he's going to react quickly to the hitch. He sees the guy, make a play. But what you got to do, you stay outside just like he did. You force the receiver to go back inside to where the pursuit is going to take care of it. And once he got there, Donald Smith came over to help him out also. Great play by the corner.
So Glenn Harper will be forced to punt again. Jimmy Cunningham standing at the 2-yard line. Cunningham will not play the football, as it is a brilliant punt going out at the 1-yard line. Great kick of 39 yards down at the 1 by Harper.
Ron Lancaster, and he has an argument on the sideline. I think they're having some communication problems with their headsets, and they say that they're completely out. Now, if that happens to be the case, Over on the Toronto side, they have to give up an equal number of headsets. So if there's 2 on the Edmonton side, 2 have to come off in Toronto until they get the communication fixed.
Ron Lancaster, you saw reacting quite vehemently a moment ago to the penalty against the Edmonton Eskimos, but he may have a bigger concern, as Kev mentioned. Gain of 4 on the carry by Robert Drummond will set up a 2nd and 6 from the Argonaut 5-yard line. Here's 2 of the best in the game right now. Don Matthews, Ron Lancaster, and the best so far in the CFL. Total yards from scrimmage, Robert Drummond. Play action. Flutie, the pass was deflected, and there is a late flag on the play. It will go incomplete, but we will await the call.
Going to have holding against Toronto. The Edmonton Eskimos will decline that, force Toronto to kick it deep from their own end and get great field position.
Legal block to the head, number 62, decline. 3rd down, Toronto.
Just to the right of your screen, the ball gets tipped at the line of scrimmage. We can't see the block that was called illegal. Trent Brown, the safety, almost makes a good play on the ball. The tip drill doesn't fall. Forces Toronto to have to kick.
Set up at the 46-yard line is Shalon Baker. He backs up to the 48 of Toronto. Baker on the run. Inside the 40. Now the 35. Still on his feet. Back to the 9-yard line. What a return for Shalon Baker. 39-yard return inside the 10-yard line. Finally brought down by Norm Casola.
This is the kind of enthusiasm that the Edmonton Eskimos have when they get a guy like Baker in the back end. He's replacing a guy by the name of Henry Gizmo Williams, the most prolific punt returner in this league. But everybody on that team knows that if I get my block, I do my job, I got a chance to spring this guy into the end zone. Baker almost takes it there, sets it up on the 9, 1st and 10.
The most outstanding rookie in the year in the league 1 year ago. 1st and goal from the 9. McManus rolls left, looks end zone, touchdown! Eddie Brown with the major. And Edmonton takes the lead. He beat Marcelo Simmons to the corner of the end zone, and the defense sets up the offense this time for the quick score.
Danny Mac does a great job that time with the play-action pass. He's going to fake the ball inside, comes out, he buys a lot of time, and when you can see this, just take a look. Fakes it inside the blunt. Everybody reacts and thinks he has it. Danny Mac's not noted for scrambling. Now he comes down, and it's just the out pattern to Eddie Brown at the corner. Eddie has Marcellus Simmons fooled. Perfect pass, perfect route by Eddie Brown. Gives Edmonton Eskimos the lead.
Fleming with the major. On the convert, now makes it 14-7. Edmonton with the lead, 4:43 remaining.
Shalon Baker on the outside. Just a little inside route. He's just going to take and see if he can cover up the defender. Eddie Brown's at the top of your screen. Little push off with the left hand. Creates a little bit of distance between he and Simmons. A little cushion. And Danny McManus makes no mistake about rifling that ball in there for the major.
Little short midget. How y'all doing? What's up, Bubba? What's up, Ronnie? Tim Giselle Samir. What's up, everybody? Bringing this one back home.
3rd touchdown reception of the year for Eddie Brown. On the 93 Cup is a member of the Eskimos out of Iowa State. Topeka, Kansas.
Came into this league leading the CFL in yardage with 530. 21 yards an average catch for Eddie Brown. Pretty impressive.
Credit that major to the defensive efforts of Edmonton. Results in the punt from the end zone. Turns into a great return by Shalon Baker. And the major score. Cunningham at the 9. Hit at the 26-yard line. 78-yard kick and an 18-yard return. Maurice Miller made the stop. This one play took 5 seconds for Eddie Brown to make it 14-7.
set up by the great return by Shalon Baker on the punt.
So we were wondering what would happen when the top defense met the top offense in the CFL tonight. First drive, Flutie marched the ball right down to the gut of the Edmonton Eskimos and scored the major. Since then, they have not generated hardly any offensive ball. That has seemed to be the trend more often, and they are not getting the sacks right now, but they are getting some pressure and forcing Doug Flutie to have to hurry a bit.
Good push up the middle that time by Mike Sellers and Benny Goods. Got in the face of Doug Flutie, forced him to try to take and throw the ball inside. Doesn't give him great vision down the field, and he throws it short of his intended receiver.
Approaching 4 minutes remaining in the first half. 2nd and 10. Flutie again through the arms and legs of Mike Clemens. Another punting situation.
A lot of pressure up front. Middle linebacker Larry Ruck comes on the blitz. Malvin Hunter, the defensive end, wraps all the way around on the inside. Take a look. Larry Ruck's on the inside. Now watch Malvin Hunter come and make the move. His job, pull the center, pull him to his left, and allow that defensive end to come around and get up in the face of Doug Flutie. It worked well.
So Vanderchat put the ball in the hands of the dangerous Shalon Baker again. A booming kick, forcing Baker back to the 39-yard line. Shalon Baker hit at the 45. A flag on the football field. Was hit there by number 35, Brendan Rogers. A return of just 6 yards after a 40-yard punt.
Let's back it up. I think we're going to get holding number 10, Malcolm Franks, on the return. Brendan Rogers is one of those guys. He's been with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers for a lot of years. Was trying to sign as a free agent with the BC Lions. Did not make it out there, decided to leave, and Coach Don Matthews knew that the key to this part of this game, 30% of it's their special teams, and this guy right there is as good as they get in the league. He knew that he could use him, and Brendan Rogers just showed why.
From the 33, McManus with the pitch to Blunt. Blunt, behind some blockers, will gain 2, maybe 3 yards on the play. Stopped by Alex Gordon.
Take a look at that shift that's going down the line of scrimmage. As soon as it is, it's an I formation. The toss play happens. Everybody just react to the ball and stay in your lanes. The Toronto defense does an excellent job of being disciplined on the toss.
Number 96, Alex Gordon, his 2nd year in the league. First is a member of the Argonauts. 3-minute warning has reached us here at Skydome. It's 14-7.
Every team has a marquee player, and we want to let you know here on the Deuce, we are not short of that too, even though we cut the budgets. But sometimes we have guys like Mike Goldberg, our play-by-play guy. That is one of the theme suites here at the Skydome that overlook the playing field that you watch. I don't know, they must cost like $1,000 or $2,000 a night, but that's where that man is sleeping for the next 2 days.
Well, I'll tell you, you walk to the front desk, Kep, and you go, "Hi, Dan Kepley, CFL Hall of Famer," and they gave you that room.
I don't know how you got that suite. You know people in high places, big guy. Danny McManus standing in the pocket, having to scramble right at the last minute. That's number 37, Ken Benson, the middle linebacker, reacts well to the pass throw. I still can't get over that. I mean, that to me costs a lot.
It does.
And it's a theme suite. What happens to be your theme in that suite?
Life is good, football is better. Jimmy Cunningham from the 27. Wheeling back now, turning on the juice. Cunningham has some field to work with. Gets a great block into Edmonton territory. Hit at the 45. 43-yard return for Jimmy Cunningham. Finally hit by Jerry Collins.
Just like I told you before for the Edmonton Eskimos, Toronto has their same guy. Jimmy Cunningham. Now watch to the right of your screen here right at the last minute. Boom! There's a block by Greg Eaglin that springs Cunningham around to the outside, and then it is nothing but foot speed that gets him down the field. This is the guy last year that had punt return touchdowns of 97, 100, and 108 yards, which happens to be the third longest in Toronto history.
From the 45, first and 10, Flutie on his own. Runs it for 7 yards. It will bring up a 2nd and 3. Lots of time remaining. 2:13 on the clock. Larry Ruck with the stop.
Just to let you know, the last 3 minutes of the half and the game, the clock stops after every play. They're able to reset it. Then the clock starts once they get everybody on side. So in the last 3 minutes, a lot of plays can be made and a lot of yardage on that field can be made up.
2nd and 3. And he gives the football to Pinball Clemens. First down, Toronto. Wrapped up on the play by Singor Mobley. Gain of 6 on the carry for Mike Clemens.
Straight dive. Now just watch the quick feet. He's moving. He's called a pinball for a reason. Once he gets into the hole, he bounces off people, keeps those legs pumping, and he picks up extra yards for you every time he touches the ball.
First down from the 33 of the Eskimos. Play action. Flutie spinning, dumps it off. Robert Drummond with a blocker in front of him. Touchback through the middle of the football field. Touchdown! What a great block applied, which opened a spot for Robert Drummond to scamper 33 yards for the score.
This guy does it all. Watch the right tackle right now. Vic Stevenson is going to come out. He's going to get a block on the outside linebacker, Willie Pless. It's a screen route. They're going to throw it deep. No, he's just going to dump it off. There's the block as it comes all the way back across, and then nothing but Robert Drummond using that incredible speed to get it in the end zone and outrace the Edmonton defenders.
Vander Jet with the convert, and we are tied. 33-yard touchdown run by Robert Drummond.
Robert Drummond out of Syracuse. Tremendous athlete, and Doug Flutie knows exactly how to utilize him to the best advantage of this offense. Vic Stevenson, the big 35-year-old guy, playing that right tackle position, makes the key block, drives Willie Pless out, and then nothing happens other than Drummond cuts back across the grain and turns it into high gear.
Big Vic Stevenson, 15th year in the league. Last year he played with the BC Lions, opposing Doug Flutie and Calgary on frequent occasion. Robert Drummond was with the Baltimore Stallions. 3 guys from different areas 1 year ago come together to camp off the 3-play, 45-yard scoring drive.
Don Matthews, the head coach of Baltimore last year, had this guy and another guy by the name of Mike Pringle, who just happened to be the MVP in the league last year from the South. And he said that Drummond was the best kept secret in the CFL. He's not anymore.
Jerry Collins mishandled the kick. It's a return of 25 yards up to near the 30-yard line. Danny McManus will come on with 1 minute and 21 seconds to work. We'll watch Doug Flutie, though, and David Archer duel it off in our next CFL telecast. Coming your way Saturday, August 24th, CFL prime time from Ottawa, the nation's capital here in the CFL, as the Argos and the Rough Riders do battle.
Well, Mike, as far as chess match goes, we've got a good one here tonight.
McManus over the middle, complete. Wrapped up after the reception. Darren Flutie hit from behind by Marcelo Simmons. Gain of 13 yards and a first down. First reception of the night for Darren Flutie.
Second time he's been thrown at. This one he catches. The first one he was knocked down by the linebacker, Greg Eaglin. Didn't get a chance to make a play on the ball. But this is a guy they need to work at inside. It'll open up the field even more for guys like Eddie Brown and Mazzoli.
From the 45. They go to the outside, and there he is again. Eddie Brown, another 13-yard gain, forced out of bounds by Adrian Smith.
Danny McManus showing one thing that he really still possesses a lot of. Arm strength, being able to throw the wide side out with some zip on it.
See Eddie Brown's eyes? In that close-up, he's checking out the Jumbotron. See what his reception looks like.
They always want to see if they do the right thing and how good they look on the camera, baby.
The hand up to Eric Blunt, right up the middle, behind some blockers. Another gain of about 13 yards, maybe 14. Ken Benson made the stop, along with Don Wilson. 50 seconds remains on the clock.
Now the clock is stopped just at this moment. Edmonton gets a chance to huddle. It's blown back in. They only lose a few seconds. I'm not sure why Danny Mack's not doing a hurry-up offense at the line of scrimmage.
Now he works it from the 38. McManus overthrows his intended receiver, Eddie Brown.
Lots of pressure up front by Andrew Stewart, the big 6'5", 270-pound defensive lineman out of Cincinnati. Take a look. Mack can't see him coming. His eyes are away. He's looking to see him away. And Andrew Stewart makes no mistake about planting that helmet right on the chin of Danny Mack.
"31 seconds remains in the first half. They give it to Blunt again. And he scampers his way close to the first down. May have come up a yard or two short.
Stumbled a bit about the 32-yard line and fell forward, but he will be about a half a yard short. Looks like they're sending in what they call their elephant offense. That's the big guys. They take out some of these smaller receivers. Mazzoli comes out, Flutie comes out, Blunt comes out, and they send in guys like Willie Pless, Maurice Miller, Malvin Hunter. Get a little weight in that offensive line and in the backfield.
Great point. 4 defensive players come in this short yardage situation. 3rd and 2 with the clock moving. There's big Willie Pless. First down, Edmonton. Where else can you watch the most outstanding defensive player in any football league, 3 of the last 4 years, run the football on frequent occasion?
All right, now look, I don't want to pout about this at all, okay? But I never got to run. They didn't put these plays in back in the days when I played middle linebacker. Now, do you think there was a real reason for this, Mike?
Well, the reason was they were attending to working on the leather helmets back then and making sure that they were all okay and not dried out.
Willie Pless makes no mistake. This is the Canadian version of the fridge, baby. Give it to him. He only weighs about 210, 215, soaking wet if he does, but he gets the job done for the Edmonton Eskimos.
He had the touchdown in the first quarter, a 1-yard run after the drive, keyed by the 46-yard reception by Eddie Brown to make it 7-7. And Eddie Brown and Robert Drummond have scored respectively for Edmonton and the Toronto Argonauts here in the second half. 17 seconds left in the half. McManus slipped. In fact, he lost his shoe and throws the interception. Football intercepted by Ken Benson. And that's just unfortunate for Danny McManus, who lost his footing as the right shoe came off, and he did not throw the football in the fashion that he would have liked to.
But as he steps back, take a look. He's going to try to force this ball in. He throws it, but he's throwing it into double coverage. He threw the ball, and he shouldn't have thrown it at all. That was the pass. Maybe you can use the shoe as an excuse, but I just use it as a point that he made a really bad read and a bad throw.
12th interception of the season already for Danny McManus. He entered the year in his CFL career with 66 interceptions to just 53 touchdowns.
Now take a look as Danny Mack's going to come back. He's going to step, and he's going to throw, and that heel comes out of the shoe. Those are high-top shoes, too. I don't know if somebody forgot to teach him how to tie the shoes on this one, but he is out of it and throws the interception.
And then Toronto just works the clock. They're happy that McManus and the Eskimos could not capitalize on the final drive of the first half. Entertaining first 30 minutes here in our CFL presentation. home in Toronto. We are at the half, tied at 14. Mike Goldberg along with Danny Kepley. You know, you've got the #1 offense in the league, Toronto. #1 defense in the league, Edmonton. Something has to give. And really 2 big special teams plays were as much a difference as anything else in the first half.
Shalon Baker with a punt return for Edmonton set up an Eddie Brown touchdown. Cunningham's punt return for Toronto set up a Robert Drummond's touchdown. So that is the key thing. The defenses on both sides are playing steady football.
Yeah, they certainly are. And I'll tell you what, it was a very flag-free, for the most part, first half, with just 6 penalties called in all. The 1 turnover by Edmonton late in the half squandered a drive by the Eskimos that could have given them the lead, as we are set to start the third. Happy you can be with us tonight. The CFL on ESPN2, following the Toronto Argonauts off to their best start since 1990. Jimmy Cunningham at the 8-yard line. Cunningham with a couple of blocks. Wheels his way back to the 34. Stopped there by Jerry Collins, a return of 26 on the play.
Essential for this Toronto offense to come out exactly the same way, I should say. I know that sounds redundant. As they did in the first quarter and the first drive that they have. Come out there, be methodical about marching this ball, make first downs, put it in the end zone.
Keep going.
They will start from their own 33. No running backs. Flutie from the shotgun. Dumps it to Pinball Clemens, and he is hit immediately by Darian Hagan, the former quarterback of the Colorado Buffaloes.
Hagan was picked up in '95 in the dispersal draft, started his CFL season and career with the Las Vegas Posse. This guy is an outstanding player when he was the quarterback at Colorado. Sporting News College Player of the Year in 1989, 5th in the Heisman Trophy. This guy can do it all. Then he just switches on the other side of the ball, and he plays halfback just as good as anybody in this league.
At Colorado to the 1990 national title. Flutie from the gun again. 2nd and 10. Looks to the far side again, and this time it's Malcolm Frank calling the receiver out of bounds, and it will be a Toronto punting situation.
Throws the out to Masadi, and Malcolm Frank's having nothing to do with it. Quick close on the ball, jams him up and runs him out of bounds. In his 9th year in the CFL, all of those years as being a leader with the Toronto Argonauts. In his career, 16 100-yard plus games. Just a steady receiver, sure-handed.
Mike Vanderjack to punt to Shalon Baker. A high punt. Fielded by Baker at the 26-yard line. And he is wrapped up there. No return on the play. 44-yard punt for Mike Vanderjack. Brendan Rodgers, once again, the man we spoke of earlier, adds another special teams tackle to his total on the year.
Vanderjack, that was a guy that was on the bubble at the early part of the season. Don Matthews had thoughts of replacing him, but he came out with some tremendous efforts, and he gave another one on that punt.
1 touchdown, 1 interception, 13 of 20 for almost 150 yards so far tonight for Danny McManus. From the 25. McManus, the quick hit to Shalon Baker. On the far side, he is hit there by Reggie Givens, the middle linebacker. Gain of 2 yards on the play.
Those hitch screens just play right into the hands of defensive teams that have great team speed, and Toronto has it. They do an excellent job keeping that player inside, containing him, forcing him to move inside to where the pursuit takes care of him, and Reggie Givens made no mistake about that tackle.
2nd and a long 7. McManus hands it off to Eric Blunt, and he will be well short of the first down, wrapped up by Andrew Stewart.
Not a play that's going to catch this Toronto defense off guard. They think they're going to catch him in a passing situation, trying to rush upfield. Stewart does a good job on Rod Knopp, the center, standing tall, then looking in the backfield, picking up the running back, blunt and then sliding off and making the tackle short of the first down.
Jimmy Cunningham back deep to receive the kick of Glenn Harper. Glenn Harper in his 11th CFL season, 6th with the Eskimos. Cunningham from the 31. Retreats as he generally does. Oh, great move made by Jimmy Cunningham. And he is near midfield. Now into Edmonton Eskimo territory. Still on his feet. Being chased down from behind by Jerry Collins all the way down to the 15-yard line. 64-yard return. As we began this third quarter, something has to give, and so far it has been special teams play. Jimmy Cunningham now over 1,100 all-purpose yards on the season. 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line. Mike Clemens up the middle, inside the 5. Touchdown! It takes just one play, and Pinball bounces his way in for the major.
Touchdown set up by that man there, and this is nothing but in-your-face kind of football by the Toronto Argonauts. They come off the line of scrimmage, that offensive line, driving the Edmonton Eskimos out of the way, and the big guy, and I mean big, Michael Clements, finds his way, finds his seam, gets burst of speed, and puts it in for the major.
Vanderjagt for the convert. And the Argonauts once again have the lead. Mike Pinball Clemens, a 15-yard touchdown run.
Great block, and this is a guy with Glenn Rogers Jr. hanging on him again at 5'7", maybe 5'6", I would think, 170 pounds out of William & Mary. Takes it into the end zone for the major and gives the Toronto Argonauts a 21-14 lead.
His 8th season in an Argonauts uniform. All his CFL years have been spent here in Toronto. Great citizen, great human being, does so much for charity. 3-time All-Eastern selection. And it was all set up by this, Jimmy Cunningham.
Still holds a record in 1990. We talk about all-purpose yards. And this is the guy that right now is leading the CFL in all-purpose yards, Jimmy the Jet Cunningham.
It's ironic, you talked about it earlier in the telecast, when guys like Henry Gizmo Williams and Mike Pinball Clemens no longer return punts for their respective teams, there have to be some studs who come in and take their jobs. We have seen the two guys tonight, Jimmy Cunningham and Shalon Baker for Edmonton. Here is Darian Hagan from the 15. Hagan returns it to the 37-yard line. Stopped there by Cooper Harris. Return of 22 yards after the kick of 60.
Just a quick little note on Cooper Harris. He happens to be the son of a guy by the name of Wayne Harris who played in Calgary. Wayne Harris's name is on the trophy of the MVP in the defense in the CFL 4 different times. He leads that category. There are 3 other players with the title 3 times. Willie Pless happens to be one of them.
And Willie Pless now sits down and watches the offense of Edmonton go to work. One-play scoring drive, safe from behind. Football's on the turf. It is recovered by Edmonton. Thomas Rayam, the offensive lineman, jumps on the loose ball, and it looks as if Jerry Collins, or one of his teammates, is down on the football field still.
That's the point of Danny Mack. See that quick 3-step? He's got to release it. No, he's going to cock it back and try to reload. You just don't have the time to do it. That's number 92, Rod Waldrop, that comes in there and just puts the helmet right in the middle of the shoulder blades of Danny Mack and puts him on the turf.
And it is Chris Morris, number 60, the right tackle, who is still down. Chris missed half of the season 1 year ago with a shoulder injury.
Big guy out of the University of Toronto, Mike, you're right, 6'5", about 295. But he's a tough guy. He's a guy that can play with some pain. But he's hobbling it off. It looks like that left leg or left ankle of it. And when your wheels don't get you from A to B, you just can't move. It doesn't matter how strong your mind is or how big your heart is. Take a look right at the last minute. As Danny Mack gets hit on, he gets nailed by his own player. And that's Waldrop that puts the tackle on Danny Mack, causing the fumble, and it comes down on the left ankle and knee area of Chris Morris.
And Chris Green, number 53, will come in on the line for Chris Morris. He will assume the right tackle position. Here is Danny McManus on 2nd and 19, rolling out, incomplete, through the hands of Jerry Collins.
Again, trying to catch this Toronto defense, playing pass and coming upfield, rushing extremely hard. Danny Mack wants to go with the screen. The linebacker, number 37, Ken Vincent, was all over the running back. Jerry Collins did not allow him to get free, and Danny Mack had to eat it, then just throw it away and force Glenn Harper into another punting situation.
After a punt return like the one we saw a moment ago by Jimmy Cunningham, what are these guys in the white thinking as they're in a punting situation again?
Right now, you've got to get out there. When you're on a coverage team, it's all desire, it's effort, and it's heart. You've got to get out there and make the play.
Oh, great pressure applied on Glenn Harper as he tried to kick it away. He shanks it, and once again, Toronto will have excellent field position.
Trying to get downfield so quickly that they forgot to block at the line of scrimmage, and the pressure came on Harper, and that's why he got off such a poor punt of only 21 yards.
From the 50-yard line of Edmonton, Mike Clemens hit immediately up the middle, a gain of 3 yards on the carry. Larry Ruck, I think, laid the initial shoulder into him from the middle linebacking position. Finally brought down by Errol Martin. Well, what was to give tonight? Toronto averages nearly 500 yards a game offensively, but Edmonton has the #1 defense in the CFL, giving up almost exactly half as many yards as Toronto is accustomed to gaining.
And both of them are playing up to their pars and up to where they are rated in the league. The one that's hurting both teams, the special teams are killing both of them in some fashion.
Play action for Flutie. He rolls right, fires downfield too far for Mike Morreale. Toronto entering this drive at total yards of 190 on the evening. But here, they will be forced to punt.
Toronto comes into this ball game. They were second in the most points scored in the league, second in TDs, first in rushing touchdowns, second in touchdown passes, second in average points scored, 35 points. These guys are just racking up some numbers again tonight.
7th punt of the night for Mike Vanderjagt. He squibs it down. Shalon Baker on the run at the 18. Not enough space was given. They'll tack on the penalty. Remember, Dan explained it to you earlier. We talk about it week in and week out here on the CFL. 5-yard cushion must be given to the receiver of a punt, or the flag goes down, and that is the situation we have here against Toronto.
And there's a different thing. There's two different calls. One is a no yards penalty, which is a flagrant.
That's no yards. Toronto, number 15. First down, Edmonton.
Number 15 is J.P. Esquerdo. When it's a flagrant, that means you just not paying any attention whatsoever, and you just go in there and you either take a shot at the receiver and not give the 5 yards. If you're actually trying to make an effort to give 5 yards to get out of it, if the ball hits the turf and give the 5 yards, they will only penalize you 5 yards as opposed to 15 for the other.
After the flag, McManus and Cruz start at the 32. Eric Blunt tied up by Reggie Gibbons. Also in on the play was Don Wilson.
Take a look at this linebacker's eyes. Right down the line of scrimmage, gets to the outside of Chris Morris, gets to the outside of the back Blunt, and takes no chance at it. Throws him down to the turf with the help of Don Wilson.
Gain of 1 yard on the play.
Reggie Gibbons, 6'2", 220 out of Penn State, can get the sideline to sideline as well as anybody again in this league. Safety blitz.
McManus reads it, gets the completion for the first down. Nick Mazzoli is Mazzoli chased down on the play, but not until he gained 18 yards.
At the top of your screen to the right, the safety, Dan Murphy, comes. And when that is, it's an automatic read. The outside receiver, go to the middle. It's vacant. Quick slant route, quick in route. Danny Mack makes no mistake about getting Mazzoli right in the chest, right between the numbers.
Gain of 18, sets up a 1st and 10 at the 52. McManus, good protection, gets it to Jerry Collins. He gets back to his feet, met there by Donald Smith right at midfield. 3-yard gain on the play.
Safety valve pass to Jerry Collins that time. Danny Mack wants to take it downfield. He wants to get some verticals to this throwing attack. Good coverage by the Toronto defense, forcing them to have to dump it off. Great reaction afterwards by Smith.
McManus, 2nd and 7. Incomplete. Darren Flutie said he was held from behind by Courtney Griffin. You could hear him up in the booth there say, holding. He's holding me. But Flutie will not get the call. And another punting situation forthcoming.
Flutie and Griffin one-on-one. Flutie comes off the line of scrimmage and they go face to face. Courtney's not giving up any ground. Gets the jam on him. No separation is created. And Courtney Griffin out of Fresno State does a good job of making a break on the ball, forcing Edmonton again to punt.
Frustrating night so far for Darren Flutie. Just 1 reception. Low snap, handled nicely. Glenn Harper, booming kick. Taken at the 16-yard line by Jimmy Cunningham. Top punt returner in the CFL. Closed down that time by Trent Brown.
That's the one time Trent Brown and the contained guy of the Edmonton Eskimo coverage team got far enough downfield, got his back turned when nobody could block him, and forced Jimmy Cunningham into the pursuit.
Don Matthews, the head coach, returning to the same place where he was shooting out the lights back in 1990. Behind Pinball Clemens and Matt Dunnigan, the Argos set a CFL record that year, racking up 689 points. Already this season, they are the top scoring offense in the CFL. Through 6 games, they have scored 212 points. Stop made by Malvin Hunter. Doug's had the one big game, really the big game this year. That was against Saskatchewan. The most yards thrown by an Argonaut quarterback in 36 years as he fired for 480 yards that evening. He's been over 300 most nights. Hasn't had the big nights quite yet.
He sets that kind of precedent like a Wayne Gretzky who scores 3 points a night. He can throw 300 on an average every time he steps on the field.
Fires it right into the belly of Mike Clemens, and he is stopped right there. 6-yard gain on the play, going to be 2 yards short of the needed 8 on 2nd down.
Here's a look at Mike Pinball as he comes off the line of scrimmage. He's just going to settle down, sit in the zone. Doug Flutie makes no mistake about getting the ball to him. He gets wrapped up, and then the big offensive linemen are going to come in, take a couple of shots to see if they can help Pinball pick up that 1st down. We keep talking again about all-purpose yards. Michael Clemens in 1990 set a CFL record with 3,300. That's a lot of times in touching the football.
Still untouched by any player in any league. They're going to be about a half yard or maybe even less short of the 1st down. And with the 1-yard cushion, undoubtedly, Don Matthews will go for it.
No doubt about that. The ball is on the 28-yard line, deep in their own end. But as we said in the Canadian Football League, that defensive line has to be a yard off the ball.
Flutie on the keeper, Cap?
Absolutely. I think right now, you just got to go. Just bury your head and get the 1st down.
And there it is. 4 minutes, 50 seconds. The clock is running. Remaining here in the 3rd quarter.
I tell you what, if I have a guy like Mike Kiselak at center, 6'3", about 295 out of Maryland, I'm not afraid to go with him in the alley as long as he walks in first.
All-star last year with San Antonio. Hey, I'm with you, winter tie, bro.
I kind of figured you're one of those real die-hard loyal fans.
Right.
You're with me. Of course, you have the theme suite.
This is true. Let us not remember or forget that. Flutie avoids the pressure, spins. Flag is on the field. Flutie dumps it incomplete. Just threw it away.
Normally where that flag's thrown, look for a holding call against Toronto. And then Doug just rifles it out of bounds. He wants to tee it up again.
Toronto, number 64. First down, repeat it.
Chuck Bradley, the new guy in the offensive line, gets called for holding. Working one-on-one with Benny Goods inside. Grabs a little bit of cloth and yanks him down. And the cloth hits the turf, holding against Doug Flutie in the offense. Make it 2nd and 20.
Flutie to Clemens. Clemens on the near side, wrapped up by Darian Hagan, driven to the turf by Singor Mobley.
Mobley again is one of those guys, as I talked about earlier. He plays the outside linebacker, kind of their dime pack and their nickel pack, what they call it. 5'11", 180 out of Washington State. 2nd year with the Edmonton Eskimos. Great versatile guy, terrific coverage guy. The only time that these guys have problems is when you run the ball right at them.
All Pac-10, 2nd team, strong safety his senior year. So 2nd and 17 after the holding penalty and a gain of 3 on the last reception. Flutie lots of time. Fires downfield. Incomplete. Good coverage on the play by Glenn Rogers Jr., who was draped all over Tyrone Williams.
Now, that's the first time we've talked about Ty Williams tonight. Now, this guy is a talent. He played a couple of years on the practice roster with the Dallas Cowboys. Has a couple of Super Bowl rings. He was 5th in the CFL in reception coming in. And that is the first pass going in his direction the whole night.
Punting from his own 8-yard line will be Mike Vanderjagt. Shalon Baker set up at his own 48. Oh, what a kick. Baker forced all the way back to the 34. And hit at the 36. A return of just 3 yards. A very, very strong kick.
Guess who's on the tackle, Mike?
A 53.
Brendan Rodgers again.
Welcome to Sky Dome, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. The CFL here on ESPN2. Mike Goldberg, Danny Kepley. A very hot and humid evening with the roof closed. Nick Mazzoli, gain of 8, maybe 9. Hit by Reggie Gibbons. Ron Lancaster in his 6th season as the head coach of the Edmonton Eskimos. 3rd all-time on the wins list for Edmonton. Of course, Hugh Campbell is number 1. Campbell was the head coach back in the days when Dan Kepley and his teammates won 5 consecutive Grey Cups. Campbell now the general manager of the team. Well, first down on the last play. A favorable spot. Now the pitch to Blunt. Spins his way up for 3 or 4. Shoestring tackle made by Alex Gordon with help from Ken Benson.
The kind of offense that you like to see a team run is an attacking offense, and this is what the Eskimos are trying to do in these last 2 plays. Get after some guys. The series previous to that, they were trying to catch and fool the Toronto defense. Run a little screen pass, run a draw play or something like that. That's not being aggressive. When Danny Mac is aggressive, he is productive.
McManus, the quick hit, through the hands of his intended receiver, Eddie Brown. Also through the hands of the defensive back, Marcelo Simmons.
Take a look at the heat coming from the outside. That's one of the keys to the Edmonton offense is your running backs, both Eric Blunt and Jerry Collins, have to take on a bigger defensive end and be able to protect your quarterback. They do a good job of it.
So a punting situation on 3rd and 6. 1 minute, 10 seconds. Clock is running, remaining here in the 3rd quarter. The only touchdown here in the 2nd half. A 15-yard touchdown by pinball Mike Clemens. Jimmy Cunningham at the 22. Back to the 30, a return of 8 yards on the play. Remember, there are no fair catches in the CFL. That is why they give the receivers the 5-yard cushion. 38-yard punt. The stop made by Jay Hamilton. Once again, our next game will come your way Saturday, August 24th from Frank Clair Stadium. In Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, the Toronto Argonauts, the Ottawa Rough Riders, right here on the Deuce. Ottawa Rough Riders just swept in a home-and-home by the Edmonton Eskimos. The combined score of those two games, 64-20. And after tonight, Edmonton will have 9 days off. Toronto's next action will be in about a week against Ottawa. Flutie over the middle, complete to Clemens. Clemens works his way back to the 43-yard line, tied up there by Darian Hagan, finally thrown down after a gain of 13 yards.
Michael Clemens getting a lot of work and a lot of looks at tonight. Now look how he comes across the middle, wide open, makes a great catch, goes down for the ball. Now you've got to be under control as a defender when you come up to try to tackle pinball, or else he's going to spin off of you. Lots of guys miss him by flying up trying to take his head off. You're not going to hit him that way. 6 receptions, 31 yards tonight.
8 seconds remains in the third quarter. Mike Clemens started the season somewhat slowly, Kep, but the last 2 weeks have been good weeks for Mike Clemens. 9 catches in the last 2 games. 9 against Saskatchewan for 106 yards. 9 against Montreal for 99 as the Edmonton player, Errol Martin, works his way off the football field after being shaken up.
Mike, it's awfully hard when you look at Doug Flutie and the weapons that he has, the Mazzatis, the Tyrone Williams, Morale, Cunningham, Jeff Fairholm, who was out because of a disc problem. You've got Drummond in the back. It's hard to keep all of those guys happy and get them the ball. That's what they do as offensive people. They want to touch the football. Michael Clemens is a threat anytime he lines up, and you have to respect him as a defensive people.
1st and 10. Hits it to the outside. Jimmy Cunningham hit right there by Kavis Reed. Last play of the third quarter with the Argonauts holding on to the 7-point lead. From the 50-yard line of the Argonauts. Flutie to Clemens. Clemens for the first down. Malvin Hunter with the stop. Gain of 5, good enough to move the chains.
Toronto winning the battle at the point of attack in the trenches. Being able to move that defensive line off the line of scrimmage, giving the ball deep to pinball, and letting him find the open spot to pick up the first down.
Robert Drummond not used as frequently tonight. So where will Flutie go? Up the middle. The pinball, Clemens again. Doug Flutie has a way of finding the hot hand and going to it frequently until that hot hand is no longer. And tonight it's pinball Clemens.
Pinball shows you why. Anytime that he gets his number called and gets an opportunity to make a play, finds it over the middle, one-on-one coverage against Mobley, does a great job of concentration on the ball, picks it up, makes it 2nd and about 2, Mike.
Dan Payne, number 57, in on the offensive line now for Toronto. Argonauts working on the 2nd and 2. The big man Robert Drummond over the top. Hit by Singor Mobley, but not until another first down gained by Toronto. Dan Payne, 57. This offensive line could turn into a concern for Don Matthews. Urshibal, as Danny Kepley already mentioned, already out of the lineup. Chuck Bradley, maybe he's not working as well as they had hoped. There's Giaskos is in there for Joe Burgess, who's a question mark. Now Flutie again. On 1st and 10 from the 40. Incomplete. The intended receiver on the play was Mike Clemens. Darian Hagan defensively.
You can take a look right there. Doug Flutie's upset with himself. Gives the shot and he's pointing to his chest. He said, that's my bad. That's my fault. He ran the pattern. Mike Clemens ran the curl route inside. Had it wide open. Doug Flutie just threw it to the outside. Getting back to the offensive line situation, Mike, a little bit. But when you got a guy as versatile and as fleet of foot as Doug Flutie is back there, he makes those offensive linemen look pretty daggone good. You just got to get your block for a little short time.
Here is Flutie on his own. Flags on the field. Flutie trying to work towards the first down marker. He will be short. A gain of 9 yards or so on the play. The holding will be called on Toronto.
Holding, Toronto, number 57. Second down, repeat it.
Big Dan Payne getting called on the holding, but this from the shotgun position. Just a quarterback draw, quarterback run all by himself. Doug Flutie trying to take and shoulder a lot of this responsibility to pick up the first down and keep this drive alive.
2nd and 20. From the 50-yard line of Edmonton. Shotgun formation. Flutie. Cunningham. Behind 3 blockers. Jimmy Cunningham runs right into a white jersey. A gain of just 6 yards on the play. Darian Hagan made the stop.
Cunningham a little slow getting up. They have 4 receivers to that wide out position. A lot of blockers in front of Cunningham. The hitch screen goes there. The defense of Edmonton does a good job. They know it's 2nd and long. Play your position, play discipline, stay outside, contain it, force Cunningham back into that pursuit. And when he does come in there, there's a traffic and some big trucks coming, and one of them got a shot on Jimmy the Jet.
Jimmy Cunningham. Good to see. He was moving the legs so quickly. He looks to be in a lot of pain. They have finally calmed him down a bit.
Jerry Townsend, the trainer, right there. You can see the other gentleman to the right making sure that they keep the head stabilized. He's not allowing Jimmy to move his neck around before they know exactly what may be wrong with him.
Darian Hagan ended up making the stop, but I think that big body that Jimmy Cunningham ran into may have been Willie Pless over on the other side, because he ran into a tank. There were a couple of white jerseys converging on Cunningham on the far side of the football field.
Well, when Willie gets going, he gets that speed going. He's only about 210. He's like one of those Scud missiles coming in. When he hits you, it hurts. You feel it.
What a showcase of talented players that we have tonight. 4 of the top 5 players in the CFL coming into this week in all-purpose yardage. Jimmy Cunningham, number 1. Robert Drummond, his Toronto teammate, number 2. Eric Blunt of Edmonton, number 3. And Eddie Brown of Edmonton, number 5. As Cunningham continues to be attended to on the football field, we will step away from the Sky Dome in Toronto with 12 minutes and 13 seconds remaining. Zone power. Punting situation once again facing Toronto. Baker back deep. Vanderjagt kicks it far away from Shalon Baker. It goes out of bounds at the 13-yard line. 30-yard punt for Mike Vanderjagt.
Came into the game with a 42-yard average, his longest punt being 69 yards. And a lot of that is a punter gets a little upset. He wants to keep that average up pretty high, but when you're punting to the corner, a lot of times that takes it off, but you're still getting the job done.
26-year-old rookie out of West Virginia and Oakville, Ontario, signed as a free agent. Originally signed with this team in '94, but couldn't crack the lineup until this year. So from the 13-yard line, McManus and the Eskimos trailing by 7. Eric Blunt falls on the play down at the 12. A loss of 3 as Marcelo Simmons was right there.
Danny Mac comes out so quickly. Now watch his eyes. Boom, he's going to look to the receiver right away. That allows that defensive guys, if they're paying attention, to react. And they did exactly that and closed up quickly on Eric Blunt.
On your left.
2nd and 12. McManus incomplete. Dangerous situation now confronts the Edmonton Eskimos. Punting from near their own end zone. Jimmy Cunningham back deep to receive.
Well, we talked about it earlier, that what this coverage team has to do, they're so worried about trying to get down and see if they can cover the field and corral Jimmy the Jet. They forget to make the block and make the jam. It's called a hot. Head on torso, hot. You got to take that helmet, stick it right into the chest of the return team and allow that punter enough time to get the ball off. Then you've got to release and bust your butt to get downfield.
Harper's kick. Very high kick. Good hang time from the 47-yard line. Cunningham spins away from one tackler, and he is tangled up at the 53-yard line of Edmonton by Singor Mobley. Have dominated the Toronto Argonauts. 9-3 since 1990. 3-3 at the Dome. They swept the 2 meetings last year, totaling 10 sacks in the 2 games and 7 rushing touchdowns. But right now, Flutie and the Argonauts maintain a 7-point lead. Flutie complete. Had his man wide open. And Paul Mazzotti made the reception. A gain of 11 yards on the play.
Man coverage, Paul Mazzotti does a good job on the curl route, turning around quickly, fronting up, making himself big and making a big target for Doug Flutie to throw to.
Paul Mazzotti, a couple of receptions tonight, 41 straight games dating back to November 7th of 1993. With the reception. Now on 1st and 10 again. Flutie improvises, throws it to the turf, incomplete.
First time that Doug Flutie really had some heat by the Edmonton Eskimos. Errol Martin, number 36, got in his face quickly. He tried to hit. Pinball coming across the middle, but Willie Pless was having nothing to do with that.
You know, as you said, Doug Flutie makes an offensive line better, but credit the play of this offensive line of the Argonauts, because coming in, the Eskimos had 27 sacks on the year, well ahead of the rest of the pack in the CFL. Flutie on 2nd and 10. Under pressure, through the hands of Mike Clemens, and incomplete. Doug Flutie pressured on the play by Benny Goods and Derek McCready.
Derek McCready doing a great job, signed as a free agent from the BC Lions this year. 6'5", about 270 out of Ohio State.
Benny Goods, looks like he got the helmet of his teammate Derek McCready jammed between the hip of Doug Flutie. Works his way off the football field. Punting situation. McManus and the Eskimos will have another chance. Baker at the 7. Shalon Baker returns the football up to the 18-yard line. 33-yard punt, 11-yard return by Shalon Baker. Stopped by George Namako.
You can see the numbers for Danny McManus tonight. 18 for 29, 180 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception on a drive right before the half that could have led to some points. This is where a chance, as I said earlier, I think he's going to have to be a little bit more aggressive with his offense. You just can't dump the ball off. The defense of Toronto is very content to make them throw the ball up in front and then just react to it with their speed.
McManus, the quick hit to Shalon Baker. He breaks 1 tackle, moves his way up for the first down. Gain of 12 yards on the play by Shalon Baker.
Danny Mac's going to come out quickly, and he sees Shalon releasing right into the middle, finds the soft spot, and then here for Shalon and Michael Pinball Clemens look very much alike. Quick movement of feet, being able to stop and start on a dime.
Errol Martin, the would-be tackler that Shalon sidestepped. Now the handoff is just darted right out. What a good defensive play made by Andrew Stewart.
It's pretty much a given from a defensive point of view. You've got 2 backs in the backfield. When that guy jumps right behind the center, number 35 Blunt, he's in there for a reason, and the reason is the draw play. Those defensive guys react to it. Maybe where Danny Mac could be a little more successful, step in there, run the same play, fake the draw play, and sprint it out, little play action, and buy himself some time.
2nd and 10. McManus wide open over the middle. Darren Flutie for the first down near midfield. Still a quiet night for Flutie, but that one goes for 20 yards, his third catch of the evening.
Darren does a good job of working in behind the outside linebacker, Greg Eaglin. Number 13 just does not get enough depth and loses a vision of where Doug Flutie is sliding to. Darren Flutie, I should say. And Danny Mack makes no mistake. Once he gets that guy in that wide open spot, to thread the needle and stick it in there.
Darren and Doug will unite tonight here in Toronto as their band. Some other guys from Boston will play at a local establishment. Darren Flutie on lead guitar, Doug Flutie on drums. Danny McManus with the handoff to Eric Blunt. Blunt to the far side. A gain of 1 on the play. Tied up by Alex Gordon, Rob Waldrop, and Andrew Stewart, the front line of the Toronto defense.
See a little counter trap play with Big Thomas Rayon leading the way, and he's leading the way for a reason. That back's right behind him. This defense of Toronto is agile, they're fast, great team speed, and they pursue right down the line of scrimmage. Danny Mack hasn't done anything as far as play action pass to set that play up. So all the defense of Toronto has to do is react and make the tackle. 2nd and 8, McManus complete to Baker. He sidesteps the would-be tackler, and he is going to find the end zone. Touchdown, Edmonton. 56-yard touchdown reception by Shalon Baker. What a fine move Baker made at around the 20-yard line to avoid the would-be tackler. Mike, very similar to the play they scored with Eddie Brown in the first quarter. They find that open area, throw it behind Reggie Gibbons, and what a move that the Shalon Baker, the touchdown maker, puts on Dan Murphy, the safety, cuts back across and just leaves him standing there, gets it in for the major. 56-yard touchdown reception or Shalon Baker. The lead has never been greater than 7 for either team. A flag on the convert attempt by Sean Fleming. Shalon Baker, the touchdown maker. Well, we talked about the flag on the convert. The penalty was against Toronto. Edmonton obviously declined, so the convert is good, and we are tied at 21. Sean Fleming to kick it off towards Mike Clemens at the 17-yard line. Clemens out near the 45. 28-yard return. Mark Tolbert made the stop. Danny McManus engineers a 5-play drive covering 91 yards in 2 minutes and 52 seconds. Capped off by the touchdown reception by Shalon Baker, his 4th touchdown of the season. This is where that offensive line really worked extremely hard for Danny Mack in that last series of plays and bought him some time to complete that pass.
Now it's Flutie's turn. Doug Flutie near side. Mike Morreale wide open. Morreale with the reception. Kavis Reed with the tackle. Gain of 14.
You're going to play a zone defense. You got to play a little more aggressive than this. Doug Flutie rolls out, forces the corner, and now that allows Morreale to sit out there all by himself. Kavis Reed has to come up late to make the tackle, but not before a first down is picked up. It doesn't take many throws like that for Doug Flutie to end up being in the end zone somewhere.
Flutie play action. Clemens, good block. Flutie puts it up into traffic to Robert Drummond. He is hauled down immediately. Willie Pless with the tackle, a loss of 1 on the play.
Willie Pless does a great job of playing man-to-man coverage. They're going to run the screen pattern to Robert Drummond. He makes the contact, then he's going to slide back inside. Willie Pless remembers the last screen pass when he got blocked by Vic Stevenson. This time he closed the gap on Drummond and wasn't allowing that to happen. Tackles for a loss.
Played 4 seasons here in Toronto at the beginning of his career. Flutie on 2nd and 11. Lots of time. Delivers it high. The completion made to Mike Morreale. Great catch in traffic down to the 20-yard line. Tavis Reed finally makes the stop. 31-yard reception for Mike Moriali.
Moriali's right at the top of your screen, and it's one-on-one, and it is battle man-on-man this time. Start a little stop and go. Tavis Reed has got to pick up the ball. Doesn't look. Moriali gives a little bit of a push, finds the ball, makes good concentration, and makes the completion and the reception.
Argonauts knocking on the door. 3:14 remains. Clock is running. 1st and 10 from the 20. From the shotgun, Flutie. Intercepted. Intercepted by Edmonton at the 12-yard line. Tavis Reed with the interception.
Tavis Reed victimized on the past 2 passes. Reads it, comes off of his man, and reacts up to the ball. Doug Flutie's trying to throw the out pattern to Tyrone Williams, covered by Darian Hagan. But Tavis Reed having nothing to do with it.
9th interception of the season. Last year, in 332 attempts, he only threw 5 interceptions. Now, he did miss 7 games with the elbow injury, but still, the picks have come more frequently.
And Mike, on those 5 picks he threw last year, he threw 4 in 1 game against Hamilton.
From the 11-yard line, McManus looking for a lot of it quickly. Incomplete. Marcelo Simmons step for step with the intended receiver, Eddie Brown.
This kind of pattern is not going to fool anybody.
Yards away from taking the lead. McManus to Blunt on the outside. Oh, he got through the arms of the would-be tackler on the play from Toronto, Don Wilson. But there is a flag down, and from the reaction of the crowd, it is going to go against Edmonton.
I think what we're going to get is offensive pass interference against Nick Mazzoli. Let's see if that's a call.
Edmonton, number 80. 2nd down, repeat it.
Good call, Cap.
Nick Mazzoli was lined up as a wide receiver, comes off the line of scrimmage, and he must have tried to be throwing a block just to the right of your screen. As McManus is trying to dump the ball off to Eric Blunt, Mazzoli is downfield trying to lay out Marcelo Simmons, the defender on that play, and he gets called for the offensive pass interference.
On the interception, the 3-minute warning has come and gone. 2:32 remains. 2nd and 15. McManus incomplete. Overthrew Darren Flutie. It was delivered a shoulder by Donald Smith.
Darren comes up flipping. Wide open in a seam route. Danny Mack had enough time, but he floated the ball out there and allowed the defender, Donald Smith, to make a good break on the ball. Take a look to your right. He's wide open right down the middle. Just get the ball down to him. But he hangs it up there, and it allows the defender, Smith, to come off of his receiver and his coverage to make a play.
So the Argonauts will undoubtedly be delivered with good field position. Glenn Harper to punt from midway through his own end zone. And it is not Jimmy Cunningham back deep to receive. It's Mike Clemens. Could that be because Clemens is hot, or could the neck be acting up from Jimmy Cunningham? There's the kick. Taking it midfield. Pinball. Down to the 43. Flag on the play. Wrapped up by Jet Roberts.
Let's see if we get an illegal block against Toronto on their return team.
Legal block, Toronto, number 9. 1st down.
Marcelo Simmons.
Mental mistakes in a crucial part of the game. Backs up Doug Flutie and his offense 10 yards.
Simmons Clemens, the rookie out of SMU, pushes the football back. It is spotted at the 51 of Toronto. 1st and 10. Just over 2 minutes remains. Big hole for pinball. And he gets all the way down inside the 40-yard line of Edmonton. 17-yard gain.
Take a look. When you spread the defense out across the field as much as you do with Toronto, and you miss the tackle right there by Malvin Hunter, that allows Pinball and those quick feet of his to pick up a big 1st down and keep this drive alive for Doug Flutie and the Argonauts.
In week 1, we saw the Argonauts win late, defeating the Montreal Alouettes. Flutie to Mazzotti. And they do it again tonight. Flutie to Clemens once again. This time he is hammered by Larry Ruck for no gain. Larry Ruck said, "Don't come up my middle there, big guy."
Larry Ruck in his 12th year with the Edmonton Eskimos. I can tell you this is how far it goes back. Larry Ruck was a junior player with us and came in back in the old days when I was playing. He plays this game just as tough as you want to in the middle. Tonight is 202 CFL career games.
4th all-time on the Eskimos roster. The all-time leader in defensive tackles for Edmonton.
Doug Flutie with a timeout. Crucial situation. Yep. Crucial situation. You're allowed 1 timeout per half in the CFL. Doug Flutie felt this would be the right time. I'm sure that he would still like to have it, but what he saw, he didn't like.
21-21, our score. Doug Flutie on the keeper. In the 1st quarter, Willie Pless answered from 1 yard out for Edmonton. In the 2nd quarter, it was Eddie Brown with a 9-yard touchdown reception. Then Robert Drummond from 33 yards to tie it at 14. Mike Clemens, a 15-yard touchdown in the 3rd quarter, and then the big hit to Shalon Baker for 56 yards here in the 4th to tie our score at 21. And that is where we stand with 1:25 remaining. 2nd and 9 from the 39. Flutie himself will be short of the 1st down.
Not by much. He'll be about a yard, maybe a half a yard short. Doug Flutie on the quarterback draw, as we talked to you earlier and said, this is a guy that likes to have the ball in his hands. Nothing fancy about this. The guys, everybody knows he's going to run the ball. The defense reacts. As soon as he looks over at the stick, he knows that he's short.
Wrapped up by Benny Goods. Don Matthews making the decision to bring on Mike Vanderjagt. The ball is spotted, Kep, at about the 32-yard line. Flutie will set up at the 38. It will be a 38-yard field goal attempt, and Vanderjagt has not been that great this year, just 13 of 18. But this should be a chip shot for him.
As long as being 51 yards.
Good snap, good set. Kick is up, and Toronto has the lead. Vanderjagt good from 38. It's 24-21.
Mike, now after a field goal in the CFL, the receiving team has the option of either having the team kick off or scrimmaging the ball from the 35-yard line. Danny Mack and his offense, Danny McManus, chooses to have it scrimmage from the 35. They're going to have to get this ball down the field. Look right in the middle, how the tap. The snap has to angle off just a bit to the right-hand side. Actually, it'd be the left-hand side of the snapper, which in this case directs the ball back there, and Vanderjagt makes no mistake about the field goal.
McManus goes to the far sideline. Gain of 7 on the reception made on the play by Nick Mazzoli. So the situation is, when you start at the 35 in the CFL, you're 75 yards away from the end zone. Now with the gain of 7, they are 68 yards away from a major. But they are thinking about getting into the range of Sean Fleming.
Sean Fleming was 3 for 3 last week against Ottawa with his longest being 40 yards. That's all he's kicked this year.
McManus. Intercepted. Adrian Smith. The football went through the hands of the Edmonton receiver, and Adrian Smith comes up with it.
Flag out on the field, though. Could be pass interference against the Toronto Argonauts.
Then the football hit the turf, and Courtney Griffin jumped on it for Toronto.
Receiver, number 82, Edmonton, declined. First down, Toronto.
Interceptions again, haunting Dan McManus.
Ineligible receiver against Darren Flutie. Danny Mac having to buy time. He knows he's got to get rid of it quickly. Darren's off the fingertips of Darren Flutie. Ball stripped. But Adrian Smith, the guy that came up with the big pick.
Adrian Smith and Courtney Griffin have been added to this revamped backfield since the beginning of the season. And Darren Flutie could not come away with that one. 44 seconds remain. Mike Clemens. But remember, the clock stops. You can go 2 and out. Could there still be time? We'll find out. Danny McManus, second interception of the night.
Two interceptions in 2 very crucial situations. Had the drive going right before the half, and he threw it into double coverage. And then an interception there off the hands of Darren Flutie and into the hands of Donald Smith.
Clock is running. 23 seconds remain. Pinball again. Flag on the play. Clemens has the first down. Holding is the call against Toronto.
Chuck Bradley, the left guard, getting called for holding again, but that's fine at this point to Doug Flutie. Takes a lot of time off the clock. 14 seconds left.
Holding, Toronto, number 64. Second down, repeat it.
Second down is repeated. 14 seconds to go. The clock is stopped.
It's 2nd and 18. Drummond. And they whistle it down with 9 remaining.
Edmonton needs to call a timeout right now quickly. If they do, it'll stop the clock, force Toronto to punt the ball, and Edmonton will either get the return and possibly 1 play.
Mike Vanderchat with a 38-yard field goal. It is the difference with 9 seconds remaining. Don Matthews looking to move it to 20 games with just 1 loss. That 1 loss on July 4th to Hamilton, the Tiger Cats, 38-36. Toronto trying to up their record to 6-1. They were just 4-14 last year. 9 seconds remains. Darian Hagan, Shalon Baker are deep. It will be Hagan. Throws it across the football field. Tipped down by the Argonauts. There's the flag as time has expired. And this football game has come to an end. What a great fight between 2 of the top teams in the CFL, the Edmonton Eskimos and the Toronto Argonauts. And in the end, the Argonauts score the 24-21 victory.
What a battle between the offenses on both sides, but the defenses kept them in the game, and the special teams came up big for both teams tonight. That guy right there getting the last shot, and it was whoever had the last time at the ball was going to win this football game.
We'll be back In a moment, 24-21 the final.